August 1864. After the fight at the inn, I was able to leave the compound much more often. I suppose after what I'd done, Hijikata thought I earned a little more trust. I don't feel like I did anything extraordinary, but I wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. I was genuinely happy that the man Hijikata approved of me. Just trying to see where we are. Harada, eh? Okay. Well, we'll skip ahead. This is to go... This is for the war, I think. Yeah, well, not war, but the battle. So do I want to stay... Yeah. I'm gonna... Hold on. There we go. Stay behind. No point in us meeting the, demon trio just yet. I wonder when Iba will show up again, because we've done everything that we've ever seen with Iba up to this point. So anytime he shows up now, it should just stop skipping, which is quite useful actually. I don't have to worry about him just suddenly appearing and saying like, oh, we should probably, you know, read through this. Let's see. So we want to go to the common room, eavesdrop on Heisuke and Sanan. So you guys can have a nice confab. And then I don't know what happens after. I guess we just wait for the boys to come back and do our, like, recap on what happened. We met all the demon boys, and they cause nothing but trouble wherever they go. Are we... Yeah, it's November. I feel like we're getting into a new scene, because things are getting kind of slow, if you know what I mean. Definitely seems slow. Yup. Huh? Alright. Apparently, Iba's showing up a little sooner than I thought he would. November 1864. 2 months passed since Kyoto underwent the flames of the Hamaguri Rebellion. Summer faded into a warm memory, and the mornings and nights became constantly chilly. Brr. I think this is good? I examined my appearance in the mirror, and I tied my hair into a fine knot. Well, where are you going this chilly morning? Yep, this is good. The year near November, marking almost 9 months since I began living with the Shinsengumi. It seemed like I was finally getting the hang of dressing like a man. Aw, I was getting excited. Thought we were having another tea shop date. Maybe too soon. Compared to how unfamiliar it originally felt when I lived in Edo. For the keen-eyed, however, I guess there was no hiding that I am a woman. For instance, when I met Okita, Saito, and Harada for the first time, they all knew right away. And even when I met Iba. Flashback.
Shh, don't. A girl should not get involved in such a dangerous situation. This man will not hesitate to hurt you, and it will be grave.
I thought I was doing a good job. Is my disguise as a man too obvious? I looked at myself in the mirror again. There isn't really much I can do about my height or my face, but maybe I should act more like a boy to prevent rumors spreading about the Shinsengumi. Maybe I can use a huskier voice, but how would I go about doing that? Girl, let me give you some lessons. Maybe I can try using words men use? I looked at my reflection once more and puffed my chest up. Maybe not a good idea. Practicing some more masculine words. So they think I look like a woman, huh? Huh, joke's on them. I'm a man. Just got a cute face is all. Despite my looks, I am very much a man, yo. Yo? Ah, yes, the masculine word, yo. How was that? I think that was a good start. Pretty manly. Oh no, who saw me?
You sound like you're forcing it. Talking with such bravado doesn't suit you.
no! A voice came suddenly from nowhere, and I quickly turned my head. Hey, you can't just sneak into a girl's room. Iba, when did you get here?
Just a little while ago. I never expected you to be so playful and fun.
Well... Oh my goodness, how long was he standing there? Did he hear the yo? My face was flushed from embarrassment. I barely knew what to do with myself.
What's the matter? You're blushing. Was it something I said?
No. Trust me, it wasn't anything you said. If anything, it was all the things I was saying to myself, but to think Eva would approach me when I was just thinking about him. I took a deep breath discreetly, and I decided to ask him about why he was visiting. So, what brings you here today? Did you have business with Hijikata? If you do, both he and Kondo are out on business at the moment.
Oh no, I am not here for Toshi, but rather for you.
For... me? Really?
Yes, indeed. You see, I was doing some investigating in Edo for any news of your father.
What? Were you able to find anything? It was nearly impossible to stop my voice from conveying my anticipation, but Iba shook his head glumly.
I visited the Yukimura infirmary and asked your neighbors, but...
The protagonist's home. It is a center of hospital and infirmary care established by Koto Yukimura in Edo.
Unfortunately, there were no signs of Koto returning yet.
I see. Even though I braced myself for disappointment, his confirmation sank my heart like a stone brick. Yet again, I had to wait for a positive sign. If there's no trace of him returning to Edo, then does that mean he's still somewhere in Kyoto? Still, if that were the case, there was no way the Shinsengumi wouldn't have noticed. Kyoto was hit hard by the Hamaguri rebellion. Thinking about it now, there's a chance that my father could have been involved in the fires, too. I worried more and more for him every day. Iba seemed to take notice of my mind working busily, so he tried to comfort me.
It's still too early to assume the worst. Ever since returning to Kyoto, I've heard many rumors about someone who fit Koto's profile.
Really? He nodded strongly to my response.
Yes. So, because of this, I wanted to ask a favor from one of the warriors here.
Before Iba could finish, someone else spoke. Oh, Inoue.
Oh, I thought I heard a familiar voice in these halls. It really is you, Iba. Toshi informed me that you were in Kyoto. I'm so glad that I was here to see it for myself.
We heard his mellow voice from beyond the hallway, and we turned around to see Inoue standing in the doorway.
Inoue, perfect timing. Just the person I wanted to see. I have a favor to ask of you.
Oh, what is it? I'd be happy to help in any way.
Okay. Shortly after, Iba led me to the main street. It was very rare for me to leave the compounds unless it was to accompany a round. Also, I was accustomed to the attention we'd received while on rounds, as civilians would stare at us with fear or hatred. In this moment, however, no one paid us any mind, passing by us as they went about their business. It was refreshing to see. Since arriving in Kyoto, I'd almost forgotten what it felt like to be a normal person again, even if I was in disguise. Are you sure it's okay for me to be out here in the open, outside of the compounds? I was so paranoid of getting into trouble with the Shinsengumi, so I had to ask Iba, albeit timidly.
I already received approval from Inoue, so you don't have to worry about that. Be on your guard, though. I assume there may be watchers from afar. Stay sharp.
Oh, right. I'm sure Inoue wouldn't blankly approve of me leaving the compounds without reason, so this was my biggest chance to gather any news of father. Hey, Iba, would it be too much to ask about what kind of rumors you heard of my father?
Oh,
Iba froze up a little at my question. I wondered if something was wrong, or the rumor in question was a little awkward. I was lost pondering the pause of our conversation, and Iba gazed at me with pity as he told me the truth.
I'm sorry. I need to be honest with you. You see, all that I said concerning the rumors of Kyoto, well, it was a lie.
Huh? I didn't understand. I stopped walking. I just wanted to take you out on a date. What does that mean? Iba looked at me with cloudy eyes and continued.
Well, when I saw you earlier, you looked so pained. I couldn't bear to see you so distraught. I figured the least I could do for you is take you out, get your mind off of things.
I didn't know how to respond. All I could do is stand there and let the reality sink in. Iba's concern was appreciated, but... So, in other words, you lied to Inoue? His body shifted at the sound of my suggestion, and he gave a wry smile before responding.
Well, technically yes, but I'm pretty sure he saw right through me. He may be less inclined to act on what he sees, but I have a strong feeling that he felt the same way I did.
Come to think of it, when I first visited the compound, Inoue was the first member of the house to show me kindness. Aw, is he shipping you two together? So maybe Inoue saw through Iba's ruse, but agreed enough with his intentions to get my mind into a better place. He placed his hand on my shoulder while his eyes gazed at me with contemplation.
Honestly, I don't think Kyoto is dead. A doctor of Western medicine as talented as him wouldn't be killed by any domain wantonly. I'm sure of it.
His words came confidently and seemed to melt my worry, if even a little. I bowed towards Iba. Thank you very much. I agree with you, and I'm grateful for your words. However, if I can't obtain any information on my father, it might be best for us to return now. His eyes are like, oh no! This is not going the way I wanted. Iba seemed taken aback by my suggestion. But...
Hey, let's wait a minute. That would defeat the whole reason for me taking you out. I brought you out here to help you take your mind off such matters.
I know, but...
You said it yourself too that Inoue agrees with me, that you need some fresh air. Going back to the compounds without giving yourself a chance to relax would be treading on the courtesy of Inoue, let alone myself.
I guess he had a point, but still...
There are no Shinsengumi warriors around you. How often do you get that chance? Why don't you do what you want?
What I want?
Sure. I mean, Inoue told me you haven't done much sightseeing since coming to Kyoto, right? So tell me what you want to do. What is your heart desire?
That's a good question. I desire to go back home. Nah, go on your walking date with your boo. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt to take a stroll. His eyes widened with surprise, and he was so excited it felt like words were spilling from his mouth. Wow. A stroll? Really? Can we go for a walk? What? Okay, I'll calm down. Oh, Iba.
Stroll, yes? That's what you want to do?
Yes, although I am allowed to go on rounds. I've never just walked around Kyoto, let alone taken in some of the sights. Iba's eyes thinned kindly and he nodded.
Understood. Then let's do that.
I was wondering if that was gonna happen.
Boy, it seems like you're easily charmed. You could get away with asking for a hairpin or two, you know that?
What is your heart desire? I'd like to go for a walk. I meant, like, could I buy you some flowers or some modongo or something? No? Okay. That's funny. I would never do that. When I get a chance to wear them anyway. The honesty behind his compliments made me blush, and I was too shy to look him in the eye. Suddenly, Iba glanced to the wide sky and muttered to himself.
I understand where you're coming from. Being impatient and worrying, that is. However, just because you're alert and on the lookout, none of that will change anything. Do you know the phrase, sickness and health start with the mind? If you get sick, your father will truly be saddened.
A sudden thought popped into my head, making me recall the first moment I met Iba. He had this innate ability, an amiable charisma, that made every word leave his mouth without the sense that he was coercing you into his opinion. You could sense that his suggestions were always out of respect for you, and he knew the best times to affirm and to sympathize. Wow. And he's good looking.
Alright, let's go.
Eva started to stroll slowly. As we walked through the town, I would occasionally pass girls appearing around my age. All of the girls wore kimonos with hairpins, and they all dressed so fashionably that it captivated me. I'd almost forgotten how girls could dress.
Some say that the only thing people from Kyoto spend money on is clothes. Osaka only cares about luxurious meals, but girls here only love fashion.
Yeah. Unlike Edo, where girls wouldn't even wear makeup, it seemed like every girl in Kyoto wore lipstick. Scandalous.
I think you'd look lovely wearing a fine kimono like these girls. Such a waste to see you in this.
I fell silent after his backhanded compliment. Oh, this is one of the weirdest dates I've been on. You're joking.
Ah, but I'm not. I would love to see you dress in an elegant kimono someday. I look forward to it, actually.
Oh boy, can we do this again? Come on, give me that Heisuke scene again, but with Iba this time. As we talked, we strolled around Kyoto, soaking in the happenings of the city. Oh no. I thought I had sneezes, and there they are. Oh, tea shop again, okay. When we passed by the tea shop where we first met, Iba suddenly stopped.
Why, this is the tea shop from our first meeting. Why don't we go in?
No, thank you. We won't find any leads there. Chizuru, just have a cup of tea.
You are such a serious person. Well, I guess that's something to admire.
I wasn't sure if it was because he comes from an elite family, but Iba was rather blunt. So the girl's like, there's nothing good about that tea shop. There's no leads in there. He was so forward with compliments.
Next time, let's make sure to set aside time for when we take a stroll.
Sure. Next time? So, I wonder if he was already plotting another one of these strolls. Chizuru is so suspicious this time around. I love it. He's plotting something. I mean, it wasn't as if Iba made me unhappy or uncomfortable, but I was admittedly a little surprised by how much concern he showed me. Oh, girl. We returned to the main road when Iba had a sudden flash of inspiration.
I just remembered. Kyoto has the most delicious sweets around.
Sweets?
So, the other day, I ate this snack called a castella, and it was one of the most delightful treats I've ever had. It was quite delicious.
A Japanese confectionery inspired by Western Europe desserts.
There's even an egg inside, so there's nutritional value, as well as being sweet for your tooth. If you get the chance, you should have some.
Oh. Of course, I've never eaten any of the sweets he was talking about, but hearing him speak so excitedly about it had me excited as well. The calm sunset drifted into the outer golden sky, and a pool of soft orange hovered above us, whispering of the blue night yet to come. Man, you guys spent a lot of time out. Summer passed, meaning the cool autumn leaves revolved around a later setting sun. If we took our time, the darkness would beat us home. Iba, I think we need to head back to the compounds.
You're right, huh? I mourn the end of the day. Such a sad affair.
His cloudy eyes pierced through me, and I almost felt overcome by the somber mood brought on by the end of our adventure. I'm sorry.
Oh, no need to apologize. Please. It's not as if I want to cause you any trouble. Today is certainly not our last together, and I will find another opportunity to invite you.
Oh, no, I wanted to apologize for something else, actually. It seemed like Iba operated in extremes, and both his exuberance for life and his penchant for deep introspection made my heart tighten. From all of the kindness you've shown me, I think it's because you've known of me before, right? The thing is, I can't remember you at all, and it eats away at me. I'm so sorry for saying this. I could see the drifting sun in his melancholy eyes, and he smiled kindly to me. There was so much sincerity in his words and his being.
Come now, I cannot blame you for this at all. After all, you had to have been only 5 back then.
Wait, you met me when I was 5? That was so long ago, yet he took one glance at me and remembered who I was. Iba nodded quietly, perhaps mired in a brief gust of nostalgia. I reflected then about my life at 5 years old. Was it around the time I just moved to Edo? The ghosts of old memories are so hard to pin, and each year the haze fades into a smoke. Did I have a playmate back then or something? I desperately tried to scavenge any images of Iba that I could, but nothing came to mind. Meanwhile, he stared at me blankly, seemingly stuck between a wall of resignation and an ache for a time gone by. Don't ask me this question. I know it hurts, but I got nothing. Don't make me hurt you more, please.
Do you remember what I said to you back then?
Huh? What do you mean? Like, she's like, this back then? Think further back, girl. Come on.
Shh, don't. A girl should not get involved in such a dangerous situation. This man will not hesitate to hurt you, and it will be grave.
You mean back at the tea shop? You told me a girl shouldn't enter a dangerous situation, right? Girl. Chizuru. Let's talk about the word context. What were you guys just talking about before he asked, do you remember what I said back then? Oh yeah, when you guys met first, when you were little kids, when you were 5 years old. Based on the context of that conversation, do you think he meant, do you remember what he said when you were 5 years old and not a few months ago at the tea shop? Chizuru! I'm sighing along with you, Iba. Iba sighed deeply and his forlorn expression burrowed straight into me. Fair.
Oh.
Then he wiped it away and smiled brightly.
Yes. That was it. Please, watch out for yourself.
His reluctance to confirm what I asked him led me to believe that he was, in fact, referring to something else he said in the past to me. But nothing comes to mind.
Let's head back to the compounds. I'll walk you.
Oh, okay. I often drew a blank when thinking of my childhood, so this was all the more frustrating. The shores of his eyes reflected a mourning in his soul, yet his gentle demeanor put me at ease. I wondered what kind of words he said to me back then. Why couldn't I remember anything about them? Such thoughts crossed my mind as I walked back to the Mibu town with Iba. The only thing that I'm kind of excited about with this is that there will come a time where she has a flash of memories of when she was a kid, and I'm here for that. I'm 100% there for her remembering stuff of them as kids. But gosh, is she thick sometimes. Ugh. But anyway. Now we can look at our warrior record. Let's see. Well, despite our bumbling, we're at 50%. Good job, everybody. The dawn of the new year arrived. It was February of 1865, and we finished eating breakfast. I was carrying a plate full of tea and opened the door to the common room. Tea is ready. Is this? I think it's, oh, Miki and... What is your name, Ito? Yes. I don't know why I can't remember Ito. Miki, always will love you, always will remember you. Ito, like, I don't know. I know his name starts with an I. Sorry, Ito. I do like you, actually, but... not as much as Miki. Okay, so now we're in chapter 3, and I don't have to worry about, like I said before, Hachiro just showing up out of nowhere and missing stuff with him. So I just gotta go through the ride of, making decisions. Oh, it's Sanon's turn, is it? Okay, so I gotta return to my room. We can come in after the fact, thankfully. And then, looks like I'm spending time with Toshi again. So I'll remain here. And avoid getting points with him. Getting all the details. Okay, so remain. This is a fairly quick scene. So let's see. Let's have faith? Yes. Okay, and then we'll have the big discussion of saying that Sanon is officially dead. So he can continue his research. And then... what happens after this? Is it the... is it Okita with tuberculosis, or is it going... must be Okita with tuberculosis first. Because he stays behind with the fortress thing, with the 3 demon boys. That's a little while away still. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you. Yeah, so I think Dr. Matsumoto's the next thing. Oh, and of course my sister brother. Forgot all about her, him, her. Kaoru. I forgot all about Kaoru. There you go. We might actually see Kaoru and our father. It wouldn't surprise me, since so much of this is about Hachiro knowing my family from before. Could be interesting. I'm trying to remember when the attack on the demon village happened. Was that when... oh wait, she said something about 5 years ago she moved to Edo. So... it's possible he knew her before she moved to Edo. He might know about her being a demon. Oh, it is the fortress. Okay, I got my timeline mixed up. Whoops. But yeah. Does he know she's a demon? Was that after the fact? We'll find out. Could be interesting twist there. Alright, what am I doing here? Oh, snap! Crackle and pop! Really? You're here? I mean, you work for the Shogun. Why didn't I think of this? Oh my goodness, something new's happening with this scene? Sign me up. Let's do this. I heard a sword unsheathed from its scabbard and someone stood in front to shield me, and it wasn't Toshi. This person is...
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but she is an ordinary girl. She always has been.
His brave words were directed at Kazuma, but his eyes glanced to mine reassuringly.
Are you alright? I'm so glad I made it.
Iba! Despite him standing before me, I was in complete disbelief that he was here. I wasn't expecting it. What are you doing here?
I was guarding the Nijo castle to guard Iemochi as well. I am an Okuzume, you know.
Come to think of it, it made a lot of sense that Iba and Okuzume would be here for the shogunate. Get to see him in action. Great. Kazuma flashed a hot white glare of contempt towards the blade pointed to his neck. His penetrating gaze burrowed into Iba.
Who the hell are you? Do you plan on getting in my way?
Iba was unshaken, and his resolve looked unbreakable as he stared at Kazuma.
Perhaps. I could be, depending on how you treat me. I have no business with you. If you're another shogunate bitch, then why don't you wag your tail back to the castle?
Damn, that was a good insult.
I can't do that. If you're trying to take her against her will, then I must stop you.
You could hear a pin drop in the silence of their sustained staring contest. Eventually, Kazuma turned towards Amagiri and barked commands at him.
I am too skilled to waste time with this shit. Amagiri, I have a new toy for you to play with.
I'm like, I feel like you should have asked, what's his name? The other guy. He would have been more willing, I think. Amagiri shrugged, then sighed, stepping forward. Sigh.
Well, if you handle it, Kazuma, you'll kill him. Plus, Shiranui isn't the type of person who knows how to hold back against weaklings, too.
Shiranui, that's the one.
Then that means I have no choice but to take you on myself.
Amagiri assumed a fighting stance, and an aura of rage began emanating from him. The hairs on my body stood immediately. It felt as if I was suddenly plopped before some creature, its fangs ready to sink into me. It's said that talented swordsmen, when crossing paths, can estimate one another's power by looking into each other's eyes without even drawing swords. Iba! My throat was dry from nervousness and worry, but I screamed his name as loudly as I could.
Chizuru, stay back. You may get hurt.
But...
I said, stay back.
He raised his voice, repeating himself, and I retreated slowly behind him. I didn't think there was a chance Iba could lose, but I reached for my Kodachi just in case. Iba regripped his sword and faced Amagiri. The tension seemed impenetrable. Then suddenly, Amagiri dropped his guard briefly, attempting to predict Iba's movements. Iba didn't miss that opportunity. He swiftly thrust the tip of his blade towards Amagiri, but it was dodged immediately. Iba's eyes widened, and mine did too. Amagiri possessed superhuman speed, and my human eyes couldn't follow him. Haha, human eyes. But Iba did not yield. Ooh, I like the color of your sword. Iba's swordsmanship was masterful, almost superhuman as well, and he was able to corner Amagiri. He moved like a flowing river. His economy of motion was natural and in total control. It's so awe-inspiring that I forget I am watching a battle, not a performance.
I see. Guess you didn't get the title of Okuzume for no reason. I think there's only a few demons that could keep up with your skill. I commend you for your strength.
The compliments from Amagiri came as a surprise to Iba, and Kazuma as well, whose eyebrows furrowed deeply at this display. I told you, man.
You're talking too much, Amagiri.
A true battle between two highly skilled warriors left no room for a moment of reprieve. If one side were to become distracted, if even for a second, it could cost them their life.
You're mine!
Iba exclaimed loudly as he swung his blade with an extreme amount of force. He had it in the bag. Or so I thought. Oh! Ooh. Oh, he just grabbed it! Whew, Amagiri.
Go!
He must have never anticipated, in his entire life, that someone could catch his sword with bare hands. Iba's expression was incredulous and he gritted his teeth with frustration. Amagiri's eyes thinned before he spoke softly. Sorry, I'm very excited.
You seem to aim only for my arms and my feet. Does that suggest that you're incapable of defeating someone who fights with their body? I take it you've never taken a life before.
Iba stared silently, offering no response. Interesting. It seemed as though Amagiri's suggestion was not untrue, and Iba seemed bitter that his intentions were read in such a short amount of time. Amagiri closed his eyes and shook his head, gesturing that he had no further intention of continuing their fight. Alright?
How foolish. This is probably just some trick the Shogun's dog learned to kiss the Shogun's ass. What value is there in a sword that cannot kill people?
Hey, come on, man. What the hell are you playing around for?
Shiranui grew impatient and he pulled out his handgun in irritation. The cold steel shined and the barrel was pointed towards Amagiri and Iba. No! Tackle him! Tackle him! Before I knew it, I was running towards Shiranui, and in a fit of confusion, I acted instinctively. I reached both arms, palms out, towards the gun that was pointed. In that moment, I heard a gunshot fire off, and it rang so heavily in my head that it felt like my skull was slammed against the ground. Good job, girl.
Chizuru!
After Iba screamed, there was a prolonged period of silence. Maybe? I stumbled across Nirvana. Girl, what are you smoking this root? It's like so confusing to me. I don't know what you're saying or thinking half the time.